With the Halloween season knocking on the door, it's time to clean up the garden toys. Make sure your Super Soaker survives the winter. Perhaps clean up the ankle breakers and hope the clackers you inherited from your aunt don't crack for another summer. In this week's Ed's Retro Geek Out, we're going to take a look at a couple toys and water guns that got cancelled, banned, and in some cases should have been recalled to save your company from ridicule. Be sure to subscribe and strap in for some toy history. The year was 1896 when the first water gun was patented. It was the cast iron USA liquid pistol, with the ability to stop the most vicious dog or man without permanent damage. The trigger would press against an interior bladder that would then squirt out the liquid inside. And over the next 100 years, the water gun would become a classic toy for many kids. Cheap clear plastic and a trigger was often enough, but there were a couple companies that tried to take the water gun to the next level. And with every new development of pressure technology and sometimes toy gun laws changing would cause these toys to get cancelled or make room for the next generation or version. Sometimes recalled or banned thanks to controversy about being too dangerous. We've actually come a long way since that USA liquid pistol fired away that harmless squirt of water. Now for the next gun on the list, a little bit of water could be potentially dangerous. In the 1950s, when BB guns weren't considered as dangerous as they are now, it took something special for a gun to stand out. And that's exactly what the Austin Magic Pistol did. Made in Port Austin, Michigan by the Austin Manufacturing Company. The toy goes off with a bang and it's harmless and has been tested by the Detroit Testing Laboratory. This at the time futuristic looking pop gun originally fired ping pong balls up to 100 feet by mixing a small amount of water or spit with a few of the white magic crystals that were supplied with the toy. The gas created was ignited by a spark from the flint when the trigger was pulled. When fired, it would make a loud sound, and sometimes you could even see flames escape from the barrel and sparks from the loading chamber. The magic crystals in the gun were also known as calcium carbide. But the problem with having these chemicals in a child's hands without any adult supervision was that if any unintended water or moisture got in there, it could potentially explode. You were basically carrying around a gas-powered combustion chamber, and it wouldn't take much for the created acetylene gas to explode. Now the explosive chamber is not the only thing the Austin Magic Pistol had going for itself. Sporting 3 Buck Rogers style fins on the barrel and painted bright red and yellow, the pistol had a strong visual presence. Virginia did ban the sale of these firearms. As they said, any toy gun, pistol, rifle, or other toy firearm that by action of an explosion of a combustible material will discharge blank or ball charges is illegal, and it still is. And in many states it's actually considered buying an actual firearm. Where the Austin Magic Pistol looked like a toy and ended up being an explosive device, the next one was the complete opposite. It looked a part of a real gun, but they were just the next innovation in water gun technology. From 1986 up to 1990, LJN had a line of battery-powered motorized water guns. These hand-powered pump water guns didn't look like anything you'd ever seen before or that was around at the time. They had the look, the feel, the sound, so real, Entertech. You had a large variety of different sized guns and water balloon grenades, a sidekick pistol, water hawk, RPG, rocket power launcher. The water guns stood out because when they were in action, the motorized water pumps made noises that, while not realistic, added an extra level of sensation. Finally, all of the guns except for the Enforcer shotgun model boasted a full automatic rate of fire, approximately 60 RPM, and that on a 30-foot effective range. Even an AK centerfire was introduced as the world's most popular motorized water gun. The realistically styled submachine gun is a must-have for every water gun lover. It came with 2 detachable magazines for your water storage and had a nylon shoulder strap. In order to create the realistic sounds, it needed power, so you had to place 4 AA batteries inside the gun. Now, that doesn't sound too safe to have something electric in the midst of your wildest water gun battles. And even a movie merchandise tie-in with Rambo's First Blood Part 2 was part of the roster. Now the line was hugely popular, and it might have actually saved the parent company if it wasn't for all the cops shooting kids holding these realistic looking weapons. In addition, there were reported incidents of criminals utilizing the toy guns in robberies of retail establishments and even banks. During these highly publicized incidents, Entertech voluntarily began manufacturing their guns with blaze orange colored caps in 1987 and began a line of less realistic neon colored guns later that year. After all toy guns were required to be fit with an orange tip starting in 1989. And as LGN moved away to merge with Acclaim, changing the entire focus on creating accessories and games for Nintendo and Sega, another challenger approached the water gun game. The Super Soaker was invented by Lonnie Johnson on November 13th, 1989, the same year the first Nerf blaster came out. The idea had sparked back in 1982. Back then, he was working as a nuclear engineer and thought of a high-tech water gun for children. Well, at least he was keeping busy during business hours. It took him 8 years to develop the company and to market the first blaster, the Super Soaker 50. When it was launched, it had some heavy rivalry with Entertech, whose blasters were more advanced because of their use of batteries, but the batteries made these blasters less reliable and they easily broke. The Super Soaker didn't require batteries, which made them cheaper for buyers. They advertised it as the most powerful water gun ever, shooting up to 50 feet with quick pump action, extra large water capacity, and safety pressure valve. And so the Super Soaker 50 was immediately the must-have item to get through summer's heatwave season. Initially, it was released as the Power Drencher, but was later renamed. I think every kid in the 90s got the chance to power drench or super soak their friends with one of these neon-colored marvels of aquatic warfare. Multiple variations were released within the Super Soaker line, each one more powerful than the next, until the CPS 2000, an abbreviation for the Constant Pressure System. What made the CPS 2000 controversial was its sheer power. Once there was a rumor going around about someone shooting a kid in the eye with the blaster and it removed the eye. Although it hasn't been confirmed, it does seem like 1996 first model of the CPS, the Mark I version, was too powerful and exceeded federal safety regulations, so it had to be pulled off the market. Soon came version 2 that packed a lesser punch. Now fast forward to 2006 when the Super Soaker family was joined by the Oozinator. Next to the 900 milliliter of water it could hold, there was also a 250 milliliter storage for bio-ooze. What you got was a gruesome looking water gun straight out of a Garbage Pail Kids collection. The toy classified as a piston pressured in combination with an air pressured blaster. With the upper pump you had regular Super Soaker action, but the lower pump would access the bio-ooze ammunition, which was exclusive for the Oozinator. When you fired the bio-ooze to your target, a sticky transparent looking goop came out, and that was supposed to stick onto the enemy when fired. It was available in its own refill pack, and one came with the Oozinator, but both have been discontinued thanks to the Soaker's unpopularity. It was the height of many controversies because of the bio-ooze capability, which ended up looking more like a money shot than a kill shot. And because of this, the TV commercial of the Soaker is often parodied online. I mean, what were they thinking? At least make the goo green or orange or whatever. And why do you even need goo on a water gun? Now, in case you didn't have a water gun, you could easily take the higher ground with moon shoes to get an advantage. Moon shoes are shoes for children fitted with trampoline-like springs. They were built as mini trampolines for your feet. Honestly, what could go wrong? They even got endorsed by Nickelodeon. Don't leave Earth without them. Not recommended for wear while mountain climbing, tightrope walking, or water skiing. While they were supposed to make you jump higher, which they didn't do, it was pretty tough keeping your ankles from breaking, kinda like the moon shoes from the 70s when they were called jump shoes, that just added big springs instead of the trampoline concept. Take a look at these satellite jumping shoes. What could go wrong with strapping stilts to your feet that double as pogo sticks? These were essentially springs on sharp metal wrapped around your shoes with fabric and laces. And many kids went to the emergency room in the 70s when they got the chance to try these out. Newer versions of these are still for sale for adults. You even got the Kangoo jumps, looking like an inline skate on a plastic tread with a T-spring to provide the tension needed. Now, Clackers seem to be popping up in all of these banned video comment sections, so I might as well just talk about this novelty toy today. Sometimes called knockers, and in other parts of the world, click-clacks. Clackers actually look a lot like the bolas, a weapon from Argentine, which was a type of throwing weapon used to capture animals by entangling their legs. And I guess you could use clackers in the same way, but that wasn't the aim of the toy. You would get two heavy acrylic balls attached to each other by a string. The aim was to bounce these together as fast and as hard as possible. The toy is based on the principles of kinetic energy, a force setting something in motion. When you did this, you could create the clack sound that could be heard on every street corner in the 60s when it came out. A decade later, the toy would get taken off the market due to being a major safety hazard, as the acrylic balls would often crack or shatter, leaving flying shrapnel everywhere. And in 1971, the US Food and Drug Administration, that was charged with regulating toys at the time, created strict safety standards for the subsequent versions of the Clackers. Even though they seem to have been officially banned in 1985, you'll still be able to find similar toys that are a bit smaller and made of lightweight plastic. Perhaps you know some more controversial and dangerous toys. If you do, leave them down in the comments below. And if you'd like to stick around for more toy history videos, be sure to hit that subscribe button and the notification bell. If you want to do more, you can always leave a like or check out my Patreon. I want to thank you guys so much for watching, and I hope to see you in the next video. See you later. Bye.